I like to start on time, so I'd like to welcome everybody to the Republican primary 5-minute forum. The Gibson Center has been hosting these now for 14 years. So I'm really pleased to have as many people as are here. We have about 50 people signed up today. I want to let you know that this is taping. We have Valley Vision and the Conway Daily Sun are taping this. They will be rebroadcasting it or putting it onto a YouTube event. And so you will be able to watch this later. And there's a lot of seniors who don't have the ability to watch a Zoom program, and so they will be able to see it as well. So all of you candidates, you'll be reaching a lot more people than the 50 who have signed up for this event. The ground rules for the 5-minute forum is you will each have 5 minutes. You can choose how you want to spend your 5 minutes, whether you introduce yourself or talk about your platform, or mention why you're a better choice than your opponent. It's up to you, but you just have the 5 minutes. What I'm going to do is I will raise my hand like that. When you have spoken for 4 minutes, I will personally message people at the 30-second mark, and then when it's time, I will show you my phone and you'll be able to see that it's ticking off the seconds, so that you have a warning when it's time for you to stop speaking. We will be following the ballot, which means that we're going to be starting with the candidate for governor. And Chris Sununu, I see you are there. If you are ready, we're ready to hear from you.
Great. Well, thank you guys very much. I think it's awesome that you get so many folks participating. I will try my best to use my 5 minutes wisely. Obviously, I think people understand the last 6 months has been quite unprecedented by many means. We've really entered into something that there was no playbook, very uncharted waters. I know we do our press conferences. One thing that we talk about all the time is the importance of transparency. We can say we're all in this together, but unless we're really making sure that what you know, we know, and what we know, you know, we're getting that feedback, they're just words. And at the end of the day, I think having that communication, having that connection with a lot of folks in our communities has allowed us to make sure that we have our PPE, our protective equipment where it needs to be, the funding where it needs to be, the testing capacity where it needs to be, and the resources, right? Making sure that the federal government resources and the resources we have here in New Hampshire are going right to the heart of. We're very fortunate in New Hampshire. We have great local control, great local connection from the top of government all the way down. So when a selectman needs something or someone on the school board needs something, they can work directly with the state to get the resources and the things that they need. And I got to take a second and say we have a great team. We really do. I want to take a minute and just say a big thank you. We have an awesome team here in New Hampshire, from Dr. Chan, who a lot of folks have come to know, and Commissioner Shibinet at the Department of Public Health and our Department of Health and Human Services, to the folks at Public Safety, the folks at the Unemployment Insurance, Employment Security, who handles our unemployment claims, which has been quite a heavy load lately, but we're handling it very, very well, creating opportunities. This team really comes together and works well. There's no politics, there's no political aspirations or anything like that. It's just all about getting results for the state of New Hampshire. Now, we have a long way to go. We've had an awesome summer with keeping our COVID numbers very low. The outbreaks that we saw in many of our long-term care facilities, we've gotten them completely under control. I think there's only 1 or 2 left in the state. We're making sure that the testing is in those facilities exactly where it needs to be, while we're still allowing now finally a lot of the visitation in those facilities. I know that's very important to folks that have loved ones in there. So we're making that social connection that wasn't there for a few months. And we're getting our economy back moving forward, right? So we've really created a very nice balance here in New Hampshire, but we definitely have a long way to go. The fall is going to be a very tenuous time. We have universities coming back. We have our public school system coming back. And we just have the fall. It's getting colder, right? So people get the cold, they get the flu, and there's no doubt that COVID will increase as well. But it's all manageable. With all these tools and resources and knowledge that we've built over the past few months, all of this is really, really manageable. The connection we have to our local officials in the schools and what's happening allows us to get those resources where they need to be. And I feel very confident that even if numbers were to increase, and I think they will, I think it's just the natural course of things, we're going to be able to manage it. I think currently we have less than maybe about a dozen people in hospitals, maybe a little more in the entire state, a dozen because of COVID. And so we're very kind of the envious eye of a lot of other states around the country. We've seen very, very tough situations in most of the rest of the part of the country. We have a lot of issues we still have to deal with. Mental health. We are in the process, and we've been very successful rebuilding what was a disastrous mental health system into something where I think we can have the best community-based mental health programs in the country. The opioid crisis. We're not losing focus on that. We dropped our opioid deaths by 20% last year with our new doorway, what we call the hub and spoke system that I created. 20% down last year, and we're on track for another significant reduction this year. So that's really great. Funding. We're going to have a budget crisis coming up. It's not a crisis if you can manage it, and this is one we can manage. With no income taxes, no sales taxes, no business taxes, we can manage and still provide resources to these programs just because we've supported the businesses that support the government. So the hole that we thought was going to be there, the $500 million hole, let's say, isn't quite nearly as big as, we don't think will be nearly as big as we think it's going to be. And it's manageable without putting more burden on businesses or families and whatnot. So there's a lot of opportunity there, but you need the right team in place. And we're very proud of the team we've put together. I tell people all the time, I'm not here to convince you that I'm right and you're wrong, or everything we do is 100% correct, especially in these very unknown times. But I do believe that one of the best things you can do in terms of leadership and public service is create that connection, really be transparent in what you're doing, allow your office or the folks that you surround yourself with to take the questions and really focus on that customer service, if you will. The real trick of government is to get the big system to focus on the individual. It's something Washington doesn't do very well, but we do really, really well here in New Hampshire, and it is a huge part of why we've been so successful. We've had to make some very tough decisions in the past few months, decisions I honestly hope no governor ever has to make. I really don't. I don't want any other future governor to have to make some of the hard choices we've had to make here. I hope we all pray that this is a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. But we've made the decisions where we've had to. We've been tough where we had to be tough and restrict things, but we've also found that flexibility with our economy to the point I couldn't see you there. We have one of the lowest unemployment rates. So look, there's a lot of opportunity here. We have a long way to go, to be sure, but we are in this together. Keep us successful as we finish out 2020. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you very much, Governor Sununu. We wish you well. Next, we have for U.S. Senator, Don Baldick has responded. So if Don Baldick could go next, that would be awesome. And if you want to all click it into speaker view, you'll be able to see the person speaking. We're having some people having a hard time getting in. That's why I was on the telephone. It looks like maybe Don Baldick did not get on yet. So maybe he'll be here later.
Here,
Pardon?
I'm right here.
Oh, okay.
I'm right here. This
All
is Don.
right. So go ahead, Don.
Okay, thank you very much. My name's Don Baldick, running for the United States Senate against Jeanne Shaheen. Just came down from Coos County. Had a great interview with the Concord Monitor here in Concord. Now I'm outside Margaritas trying to do my best to maintain my internet connection. It's awesome, but it's great to see everybody, and God bless you all. You know, simple fact is, every time I talk to people, I tell them this is a job interview to be your United States Senator. I want to go down there and serve you and apply my 33 plus years of military service inside the military, from private general to serving you. I know how to get that done. I know how to do it. I know how to work with people. I believe in people are our number one asset. And right now, the people aren't being taken care of. Senator down there that's going to focus on the people, that isn't emboldened or, excuse me, beholden to the establishment, special interest, or lobbyists. Understand.
Yeah, Don seems to be experiencing some technical difficulty right now. He said he was trying to stay someplace where he could be heard. All righty, well, he had 4 minutes left when he cut out, so if he can come back again at some point, I guess what we should do is go on to Matt Moores and Matt Mowers, and if Matt's ready, he could.
Sure. Well, Jill, thank you so much to you and all the folks at the Gibson Center. You know, we'd obviously love to be with everyone in person today, but in the environment we're in, we'll accept Zoom. We'll actually be back up in Conway sometime next week. So love to see so many folks there too. My wife and I love it up there. We've actually already gone camping in Albany and Tamworth this summer. So we're looking to check off a few more boxes, but I have a hunch it may have to wait until after November. But it's great to be with all of you. So yeah, my name's Matt Mowers, and I got into this race to run for Congress because honestly, I felt Chris Pappas just wasn't living up to the representation he had promised 2 years ago. You know, in 2018, he went around places like Conway saying he would work across the aisle, saying he would work with the president when he could, saying that he would try to be an independent voice for New Hampshire. Now, unfortunately, since the moment he got down there, he's done none of that. He's voted with Nancy Pelosi and his party leadership 100% of the time. And unfortunately, that's often come at the expense of New Hampshire's working class families. It's come at the expense of New Hampshire's law enforcement, and as well as New Hampshire's taxpayers. You know, just a few examples from this past few months, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about myself. You know, Chris Pappas sided with Nancy Pelosi when she voted to strip away qualified immunity from our police, which would allow them and their families to be subject to frivolous lawsuits from the criminals that they arrest. You know, I've met with law enforcement. I'm a strong supporter of law enforcement. And they've told me that this would lead to the largest number of resignations of police officers across our country in our history, which will leave our communities at risk. And so I don't think any of us on this call want to see our America or our communities actually suffer the consequences of those decisions. And so I'm going to be a strong advocate for law enforcement in our communities. You know, Chris Pappas voted to give billions of dollars to illegal immigrants and stimulus checks at a time when small businesses in New Hampshire and working class families in New Hampshire were in need in the middle of the COVID-19 shutdowns. And unfortunately, that's a misplaced priority. You look at the fact that he sided with Nancy Pelosi and his party leadership on a conference call when they said that they wanted to use COVID-19 as an opportunity to advance their agenda. Well, this is something that's impacted all of us, not just as a community, not just as New Hampshire, but as a world. And yet, this is not a time for partisan politics. This was a time to respond to the crisis at hand, to put partisan politics aside, and to do what was in the best interest of the American people. And unfortunately, he's gone along with a crowd that wanted to politicize this crisis. Well, I'm going to be very different. You know, I'm honored to have the endorsement of President Trump in this campaign. And he endorsed because we're going to be able to work together on issues that matter to the people of New Hampshire. You know, we have still continue to have an addiction crisis in our state, a drug crisis in our state. And you heard the governor talk about the hub and spoke model, which has been very successful in a number of ways, but we need to do more. So I'm going to work with the president to make sure we have more resources to address our opioid and drug addiction crisis here in New Hampshire, so that when people actually go to the hub and spoke model and check themselves in, there's an inpatient facility available for them as well. I'm going to make sure that we support building the wall on the southern border, stop the influx of illegal drugs into our country, which is so important as well. You know, all of this is pretty personal to me. I grew up in a middle-class family. My dad was a construction worker. It took us. For us, it was an amazing opportunity. He was able to show up each day, leave the house at 4 a.m. and work hard each day. It's families like that that need a voice down in Washington, D.C. again. We don't need someone who's going to forget those families and then try to raise their income, their taxes the way Chris Pappas has. And so I look forward to getting to work. I see a lot of friends here and also see my time is running up. But if folks would like to learn more, they can go to mattmowers.com. So great to see so many of you, including friends like Joe Kenny, who I'm honored to have supporting our campaign. And I look forward to earning everyone's vote, both in September 8th and also November 3rd.
Thank you very much. Matt's running for United States Representative. You might have seen I was on the telephone earlier. Mike Callis is trying to sign in, but he is also experiencing some challenges. I don't believe he's made it on yet. So why don't we go to Matt Mayberry? Matt, are you ready?
I am ready. Good morning.
Awesome.
Jill, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, friends. I'm Matt Mayberry. I'm a 55-year-old U.S. Air Force veteran. I live in Dover. I grew up in Gorham, Maine. Spent a lot of time in North Conway, and as an adult, I spent a lot of time in the Mount Washington Valley. I used to work for Congressman Bill Zelliff back when he owned the Christmas Farm Inn. And I had, great pizza at the Shenandoah. I had my first artichoke and spinach dip at the Scarecrow. I know the area well, so much so, I always stop at Grammy Schaffner's farm to get strawberry jam. And as you see, I like it a lot. It's really good. I am thrilled and honored to have the endorsement of Gene Chandler and Jeb Bradley. They know that I know Carroll County well. I've lived in New Hampshire for 35 years. I've been to all 239 towns and cities. And there are some things that unite us. Those things that are very particular to Carroll County and to what you folks do. It's like the affordability and accessibility of healthcare. Like I know you have new urgent care opening up there in North Conway, and that's going to help provide options and pull down costs for everyone to get affordable healthcare. Infrastructure, I'm a big infrastructure guy. We need good roads and strong bridges to bring superior material into New Hampshire so we can get our products back out. We all know that the Mount Washington Valley is heavily reliant on tourism. It's a $5 billion industry here in the state of New Hampshire. Infrastructure matters. That intersection on 302 and East Conway, it's the 12th most dangerous intersection in the state of New Hampshire. It's a state issue, but you need federal funds to help get that money back in. Right now, we receive 87 cents on every dollar we send to Washington. That's wrong. 10% of our population are comprised of veterans like myself. I'm in the VA healthcare system, and I will stay in that healthcare system should I be elected to Congress, because I believe that the VA healthcare system in New Hampshire is broken. A lot of veterans there in Manchester for your VA healthcare. It's easier for you to go to Portland, Maine. But that system is broken. I found too many veterans who want to die by suicide because they're not getting the care they Matt Mowers mentioned the millions of dollars that he wants to give to legals. And that's on there also, but he's on in a very local way. He's allowed $134 million in unpaid medical bills to accumulate from the VA to medical practices in New Hampshire. That's wrong. He deserves to be fired. He's not doing his job. I want to talk about the Gibson Center for a minute, because you folks are the linchpin in that community. I was first introduced to the Gibson Center back in '87 when I went to work for Bill Zelliff. And it was with Dick Badger and Mike Kirk and a few other folks. Y'all made it work. But you provide Meals on Wheels, and I've done similar here in Stratford County. During the height of the COVID situation, I delivered over 200 meals through Meals on Wheels. And as I talk about it, it's more than that food. It's that connection. It's saying hello, making sure they're okay, making sure that they have some human contact. And the rides you provide help keep seniors connected to the community and live in pride and dignity in their own homes. You do amazing work. I want to take that customer service level to New Hampshire. I'm going to take 2 small Winnebagos and outfit them as mobile offices. So if you have a problem with the federal government, call my office and we'll drive right to your home, park there and help you. Or we'll drive to the Gibson Center and we'll be there Wednesdays from 1 to 4. So if anyone there has a problem, we can help you on your terms, on your schedule, not that of the federal government. You'll have lots of options and choices on September 8th in the Republican primary. I hope I can earn your vote. I'm an Air Force veteran. I care about New Hampshire. I got into this race because I found 4 veterans who were going to lose their access to mental health care. You deserve better. The Mount Washington Valley in Carroll County deserves more attention that's been given. How many of you have ever seen Chris Pappas at the center talking to you? Have you ever seen him at Zeb's? Have you ever seen him to my favorite place in Carroll County, Dairy Queen? Best place in the world. Have you ever seen him there? Probably not. Has he ever been in Patch's Market? Probably not. My time is wrapping up, but I'm Matt Mayberry. You can call me at 603-969-7077. I answer my own phone, answer my own questions, and the last part I'll do in my last 30 seconds, I stand with law enforcement because my best friend wears a bulletproof vest to work, so you don't have to. He goes to work in the middle of the night so you can stay home with your family. I don't talk about supporting law enforcement, I live it. We went to 15 police stations to say thank you. And we express our gratitude. I stand with the blue all day long. Jill, thank you for this opportunity. Gibson Center, thank you for everything you do every single day. And I hope all of you have a fantastic day.
Thank you very much,
I think
Matt.
we're on Zoom now.
Okay.
Okay, let me just.
Mike is here.
Watch is
Okay,
here.
Mike, go for it. Mike Callis has been able to
Tell me
get
to
in.
record. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, and this is my 5 minutes.
Yes, I'm timing it.
Oh, okay, well, I'd like to start talking about the absentee ballots that are available and being.
Mike, we've lost you. Hello, Mike. Well, I guess we should go to Joe Kenny, who is next, and maybe Mike can find a place where he can call in and speak with us. So, Joe Kenny, are you ready?
I am, Joe. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yes. And Joe is running for executive counselor.
Thank you to the Gibson Center, Jill, for setting up this candidates forum. I am Joe Kenny, running for the executive council. Before I begin, I want to recognize our frontline healthcare workers and our first responders who work day in and day out to make our community safer. You know, if it hadn't been for COVID-19 pandemic, we wouldn't have really recognized what special people that we are in and around every day. So thank you for that, those folks who make the sacrifice each day. I'd also like to say 100 years ago today, the state of Tennessee voted for the universal suffrage, and it ratified the necessary 3/4 state votes for women to be able to vote. We thank the many suffrage women who convinced President Wilson, the U.S. Congress, and was able to vote for president in 1944. And I'm not sure if she voted for Calvin Coolidge or Davis that year, but most likely Coolidge. The Executive Council belongs to the executive branch of government. All incoming governors need to know how to count to 3 to conduct business. Each councilor represents about 275,000 for their district. District 1 encompasses about 55% of the geographic area of New Hampshire. The 3 northern counties and the 4 counties that bleed into District 1. It was not uncommon for me to travel 60,000 miles a year as your executive counselor, and it was an honor and a privilege to do that. The major three responsibilities: governor, voting on state contracts, and the confirmation of judicial nominations. My concern with the council for the past year and a half has been that it's evolved into a Washington-style politics board, and it's crept into New Hampshire, and I think we need to change the council configuration. Supreme Court Justice. The current occupant, Andrew Walensky, and Councilor Pignatelli shot him down. He had the same type of support that Charles Greenhag of Cooper, Cargo, and Chant had when he was put up for the district state court, when bipartisan folks from the Mount Washington Valley came down to the council and supported his nomination. I think we need to get Gordon McDonald on the state Supreme Court and understand we only have 4 state Supreme Court justices. And in the COVID-19, we have put the state, I think, in a poor way. Other things that have gone in the council: the rejection of pay raises of Commissioner Edelblue and Commissioner Molliker at the time. That was politically driven, again, not New Hampshire at all. My personal experiences as your counselor were a tremendous honor and privilege. And I want to use this experience that I've had in the past. We have a hole of potentially $500 million, as the governor has indicated. You're going to need a fiscally controlled council in order to balance, you know, state budget, looking at contracts that are going to meet the muster that for the taxpayers. Additionally, the Valley is known for infrastructure, infrastructure, infrastructure. I supported a 1.2 million CMAQ grant that allowed the Pathway Project to get funding. I also supported as a state senator the last funding piece for the rest stop. More recently, there's been a movement in Carroll County to put forth funding for Carroll County broadband, which Senator Bradley has been a champion, and others, and I totally support that effort. I think we need to wire the county for broadband. I'm against income sales tax. We need to work with our businesses in the Valley, and we need to lighten up on some of the regulation. I support our veterans. I support our senior centers who have gone through a very difficult time. And I also want to compliment Pamela Clay Storm, the nurse at Kennett High School, for providing the protocol and the PPEs and encouraging the school to open up along with others in the Valley. Lastly, I would just like to say that I was at the governor's office earlier last week and helped out with expanding Early Child Care Education Association, going from 10 kids in childcare to 20 kids. So with that, I support our First Amendment, our Second Amendment. I think this is going to be a very critical election. I think my experience in my public service has proven itself, and I look for your support and vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joe. So Joe Kenny's running for executive counselor. I had told Jeb Bradley that he was up next. And then Mike Callis has been able to log on at the library. So Jeb, you will have your 5 minutes, and then Mike is going to be right after Jeb, and we'll get back to 5.
Very much, Jill. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for the Gibson Center for all the great work you're doing and sponsoring this Zoom event. I had the great opportunity to grow up in Wolfboro. My parents owned a hardware store. I worked there many, many summers. I have 4 kids. They've all moved out west, but I have a wonderful bride, Karen. We have a great dog, Napoleon, who a lot of you know. Our love is hiking in the White Mountains and gardening. And I didn't get the memo about having a Jeb Bradley sign in back of me, but behind me you can see my maps of the White Mountains. It's been an honor to serve New Hampshire for a number of years, first in the New Hampshire House, where I led efforts to lower electric rates and to protect our environment. In the United States Congress, where I worked for improved funding for great veterans like Joe Kenny and their health care, or to create a wilderness designation in the White Mountains, and in saving 5,000 jobs at the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard. In the New Hampshire Senate, my bipartisan priorities have always been more jobs and growing paycheck for hardworking families and small businesses. And we've done that in New Hampshire by lowering the cost to businesses of workers' compensation, of health care, and business taxes. I led efforts on pension reform that was fair to employees and to taxpayers. I've been a leader on renewable energy, biomass jobs, and net metering. And on health care, I worked for Medicaid expansion, more resources to lower the cost of drugs. So why am I running again? As I think we all know, these are very unsettling times. And I believe that we need people who can work in a bipartisan fashion and have proven. My first example of that is Medicaid expansion, where 50,000 people now have health care. And yes, I had to take on people in my own party, but it's not just that. Mental health funding, substance abuse, preventing child abuse and neglect. And this session, I worked with Senator Soucy to salvage much legislation that led to better water protection standards, parity for telemedicine, lower costs for insulin, and better access to broadband in rural areas of New Hampshire like Carroll County. And on a bill that was very important to me that got passed this year because my sister died of ovarian cancer, parity for oral chemotherapy. I also believe that we absolutely have to have, in unsettling times, effective constituent service. And I've worked to connect individuals and businesses to the help they need, or the Ossipee roundabout, or funding for Conway's water projects. So what do I see as the key issues in 2020? Number one, safely getting people back to work. So we need to continue the reforms that have made New Hampshire one of the most attractive states to locate a business and raise a family. We need to protect taxpayers. That means no income tax, no sales tax, no capital gains tax. We need to foster educational opportunity. I have 4 kids. 3 of my sons graduated from Kingswood Regional High School. It was great for them. My daughter needed something different. That's why I've fought so hard and will continue to fight for the new charter school in Conway. And lastly, a key priority is safe streets and safe homes. We have to hold all government officials accountable, but we also have to defend the vast majority of brave police officers who serve our communities and not defund their efforts. And I'll continue my bipartisan work for improved access to lower cost healthcare, lower cost of drugs, and protecting our environment. I'm proud to have been honored by numerous organizations over my time in Concord and in Congress. The Nature Conservancy named me their Conservation Leadership Award a few months ago. The New Hampshire Dental Society gave me Association named me their Legislator of the Year, and the National Alliance on Mental Illness in New Hampshire also named me their Legislator of the Year, as did the Veterans of Foreign Wars. So thank you very much to the Gibson Center, to everyone watching. Please go to my website, jebforstatesenate.com, and of course, on November 3rd and in the primary, I ask for your vote. Thank you again, everybody.
Oh, Jeb, that was perfect timing. Perfect timing. All right. So Mike Callis has been able to set up a link. He is at the library. And so Mike is running for a U.S. representative. Welcome, Mike.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, my name is Michael Callis, First Congressional District of New in the Republican primary. Now, the Democrats also having a primary September 8th, but there's really not a lot of competition on that side. Everybody's an incumbent pretty much. But on the Republican side, there is a lot of action. And I would like to stand out as the only Michael, not a Matt, running in the first congressional district. Matt Mayberry and Matt Mowers are the two recognized contenders, one by the National Republican Committee and Donald Trump, that's Matt Mowers, and the other by the state Republican committees. And, you know, the people more connected with the state Republicans are for Matt Mayberry, and I'm the outsider. One of the reasons I'm an outsider is because I'm running for the re-impeachment of Donald Trump. And I can just point to an article in today's Sun by a former Homeland Security official who was a Republican. And now he belongs to Republican voters against Trump. And the reason is because he says he was terrified by the manner in which Trump was running Homeland Security. And he talked about how he's running for personal gains and for against anybody that didn't vote against him, the state of California. But offering people an opportunity to say by voting for me that Trump should be re-impeached because he's endangering the electoral process. When I ran last time, 2018, said he should be impeached, and he wasn't. So we're halfway there. And I said, you know, they should keep the something nefarious, trying to dismantle the post office from, you know, running ballots through because he's upset with the absentee ballots. And from what I can see, all the state officials are encouraging people to use the absentee ballot because it's going to make it easier on them in the long run. And it's also going to protect people's health. And that's what I stand for. I stand for you know, watching out for the people's health. And the problem with Donald Trump, especially as we can see from the pandemic, is that he has failed. And we need new leadership there. And Donald Trump, as a real estate person and as TV celebrity, has always promoted positive thinking. You know, it comes from his childhood with Vincent Peale, the minister, who would talk about, you know, think positive. Well, in a lot of cases, that's going to help if you're going to ignore the science. And I would certainly offer myself as a protest vote for side of the primary, that I would encourage people to vote for on the Republican side, and they can vote for Callis. My Callis's work for you. For that Matt Mowers is endorsed by Trump and Jared Kushner. And Trump has been sending his family here, promoting them. And Matt Mowers noted for his investigation into Trump's impeachment and his from Trump to the Ukrainian. And he was also investigated for the Christie Bridgegate, in which he was one occasion getting even with people that they didn't like, how getting even. And that's what I would like to do if I'm elected to Congress. I would like to help the people. And so vote for Michael Callis. The only
Hi, Michael. Thank you very much for speaking today. So you're running for U.S. Representative. Next, we have for New Hampshire Representative
All right, Jill, let me throw the camera on for you. How you doing?
Okay.
Can you see me now?
Bandwidth is low.
You said bandwidth was low?
Yep.
I will do my best on the
Okay.
bandwidth side of things. And I'll do my best also to speak slowly as possible. First of all, thank you, Jill, and thank you to the Gibson Center, not only for this opportunity to speak, but also for everything that you do in the community. I'm not sure if my grandmother Helen was here, if she would be beating me upside the head for jumping into this, or right there behind me, you know, go get them. So if my lights go down, we'll know which side of the aisle she's on that. As I said, thank you so much for everything. As a student, as a nursing student, I was there, and as a member of the community, you guys have always been there. What I'm going to speak about today is who I am and a little bit about why I'm running. But right off the bat, I'm a local, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a veteran, and I'm a community leader. And when I say I'm a local, I mean born, bred, raised right here in the Mount Washington Valley. And the Mount Washington Valley has always been my home. And it will always be my home. Born over at Memorial Hospital. My parents, at the time, before I moved to Conway. In Conway, I ended up going to Kennett High School. I was a captain of the ski team. I was the captain of the soccer team. Numerous state championships underneath their belt. I took off to the University of Vermont, where I was supposed to ski race, and that didn't work out. So the next thing you know, I raised my right hand and joined ROTC and raised my right hand again 19 years ago, August 3rd, to become an officer. And 39 days later, our world changed and my life changed. I was thrown right into counterinsurgency, trained in combat against the Russians. So we made it up as we went. We didn't know. After my service in the military, I was injured in 2007, retired back to the valley. During that period of time while I was gone as an EMT, as a medic, as a soldier, I was constantly supported by the Valley, either the students at Kennett Middle School, the Gibson Center, with the care packages that I would sell out, or not sell out, but distribute. I distributed them, I promise. We distributed them to the children, over 18,000 kids. And now I'm running for a district that is a quarter, not even, maybe a tenth of the size of one section of Vermont that I actually had to take care of. As a father, I've got 5 kids, 4 of which are supposed to be school-aged in school right now. And I'm looking at COVID, and I'm looking at an 80-plus-year-old grandmother moving in with them. And I'm balancing the options that we have as a family, and I'm thankful for everything that the SAU 9 board did to make the option available to us to either distance learn or to jump back into the schools, because those schools need to be open for the kids who need it. Who need it to keep our economy going, to keep those kids socialized. And a lot of them, it's food security, it's safety, it is physical security. Those schools need to be open, and I'm happy as a father. As a husband, my wife has put up with me for 13 years as of this weekend. I don't know how she ever did. But she's also a local, and she's a school teacher here, and she is directly affected. I'm a veteran. Clearly, I'm a veteran. I did my tours downrange. I did my service. I came back. And as a veteran, I've worked as a community leader to take care of it. Also worked as a community leader to help take care of our local kids with ESSC, with junior sports, with soccer, mountain biking. Take my kids and I lead by example, and we show the world through our gardening, passing that stuff back into the end 68 hours of hunger. As a ski guy, how can you be a ski bum and a community leader? As the director of the Mountain Meister program at Cranmore, I made it a focus to do community service and give back to the community that supported us. We gave the one and done, but we gave them a pay to play, and we started every Wednesday. They went back out into the community to support the community. And that brings me to why I'm running. I am running because I'm tired of division. partisan politics that have leaked into New Hampshire from a national level. We're the largest, one of the largest legislative bodies in the world. And we must represent our state, not some national party or a national agenda. We, as New Hampshire individuals and Canada, everybody who's on this call, up to us to bring New Hampshire solutions to New Hampshire challenges. And I use the word challenges, not problems. As a proven leader, I will make sure that I take those challenges and turn them into opportunity for growth, opportunity for change. And with that, I am hoping for your vote to be state representative for Carroll 1, Bartlett, Jackson, and Harts. And I'm hoping I hit the time almost as well as Jeb. The thumbs up. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Ray. So Ray's the only one on the ballot for New Hampshire Representative District 1. Now we're going to be going to New Hampshire Representative District 2, and Wendy Richardson is up first. Welcome, Wendy.
How about now? It's saying that you are unmuting me. Can you hear me? Okay, perfect. Okay. I wanted to thank the Gibson Center. Thank you so much for providing this forum for us to all get our voice out. I really appreciate your time and your efforts. My name is Wendy Richardson. I am a wife, a mother, a farmer, a friend, a teacher. As of most recently, I have decided to become a Republican. I'm running for Carroll County, the District 2. And in that district, it includes Conway and Chatham, Eaton, and Hales location. I'm excited. I have a family of 4, and I'm married to a former teacher. We are part of a family farm that is local to Conway. We also have a farm stand in Conway. So to say that agriculture is our livelihood, that we're invested in it, that would be an understatement. But I support health and wellness, and I think that we should make it a part of our community, that we should start with supporting agriculture in our area and knowing where our food comes from, and supporting the local businesses as well. Obviously, I'm part of a small business through this family farm, so I'm invested in seeing these small businesses. I want to see them not just survive, but also thrive. I think that there's so much there, and anything that is successful, like a community and having unity in that community, I think that that can only contribute to a thriving nation. And who doesn't want that for us right now? I'm excited to be an advocate for children. I mentioned that I have 4. I absolutely adore children, and I want to protect their innocence at all costs. I want to advocate for families to have academic opportunities. I believe that there is some opportunities that are coming our way that will help children reach their full potential, and I'm excited out there for families that are tailored to their needs and their child, and it's happening soon. I'm so excited about it. At an event, and they expressed concerns over over taxation. They want to keep New Hampshire the beautiful state that it is. It's known for its tax incentives, and there was concern over capital gains. I believe in fiscal responsibility, so I will not be supporting raising any taxes, and I will maintain the New Hampshire advantage. If you had told me a year ago I would be where I am right now, I never would have believed you. But I think it's so important and imperative right now, more than ever, to vote. So I want to be your voice. I would be honored in a time when I think that everybody is so desperate to be heard, to be the voice of all of the communities that make up District 2. I think you should get out and vote, whether it's for me or not. It's a time, it's important to do that. And I would love to be the voice of you and for your families and for my family. I decided to become a candidate for this because I didn't feel like my voice was being heard in the community. And I thought, well, the only next step is this. So I look forward to being your voice, and thank you for this time and this platform. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very You had a little bit more time, but thank you very much for speaking with us today. Next up, also New Hampshire Representative District 2, we have Karen Umberger. Karen, if you want to unmute yourself and then you can speak.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Jill and the Gibson Center for stepping up to the plate and hosting this 5-minute forum. I know we would much rather be there in person, but unfortunately, Zoom is the best alternative that we have right now. I have lived in the Valley for over 20 years with my husband, Jim. I had a 28-year career in the Air Force and could have settled any place, but I chose New Hampshire and the Mount Washington Valley. What a great choice Jim and I made. Why am I running again? I do not believe that our current representatives reflect the views of our district in Concord. I have closely followed how each one of them was voting on numerous bills that were passed. And in 99% of the votes, they followed the Democratic Party line. Yet they went to Concord on a promise to work across the aisle. And yet I have seen very little of that. You can check the website, nwvgop.org. There is no question this has been a very strange year for the state legislature. One of the bright spots, however, was there was sufficient income in 2020 not to trigger the business tax increase. This was an agreement between the legislature and the governor in order to get the budget passed. There is no question that this would have been a terrible blow to our businesses if their taxes had gone up, along with their decrease in income caused by the coronavirus. I'm a firm believer that it is essential to invest in public education. Everyone deserves the best education for their children, whether they attend regular public school or a public charter school. Parents should have a choice. I also believe it is essential that we provide career training that prepares our children for the economy going forward. There is no doubt how we conduct business in the future has been drastically changed by COVID-19. The skills we thought were required in March of 2020 may not be the skills we need post-COVID. The education system must adapt to this changing environment. We need to continue to invest in our state and local roads and bridges. This infrastructure is so important for the health of our economy and moving goods around the state. High-speed internet. We saw when the schools closed and shut down the direct effect of not having high-speed internet. This needs to change. Having a Chromebook available does not mean you can actually access anything unless you have internet service. I know schools in our area are starting with face-to-face learning in September, but this in no way means that at some point we will once again have to send the children home for district learning. Without internet access or ability to pay for it, the children are being shortchanged. There's been much written about the state of mental health in both children and adults as a result of COVID-19. That need to be addressed and funded. I will work to ensure this funding is available. Overdose deaths are also rising, and we need to continue our support for addiction treatment. Reports have indicated that many people who are on the road to recovery have returned to the use of opioids. The pandemic has slowed job creation in the Valley, and our small businesses are suffering, as are many workers. It is vitally important that we get small business, our lifeblood, back on track. I am someone who listens, someone you can trust, and someone who cares about you. Please cast your vote for Karen Umberger in the Republican primary on September 8th. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Karen. Who is the third person that is running for New Hampshire representative in District 2? Welcome, Frank. You're going to have to unmute yourself on the bottom left-hand corner.
Okay, got it. I think. Good afternoon to all of you, and Jill, thank you for doing this. I'd like to welcome all of you who are watching. I'm Frank McCarthy, as you know, and I'm running for District 2, the State House representative in District 2. Most of you know my wife, Terry. She's a county commissioner. She was born and raised right here in Conway, and we raised our 3 children here. And before I go any further, you know I'm running for my 4th term in the House of Representatives. I want to read to you from our Constitution, the state Constitution of New Hampshire. But Article 8, what I'm going to read, is more of a creed to me. It tells me what my responsibility the House of Representatives. Article 8, accountability of magistrates and officers. All power residing originally in and being derived from the people. That's where the power is, with the people. All of the magistrates and officers of government are their substitutes and their agents to act in their stead. So we are acting for our constituents, not ourselves. We're not down there to get laws passed that help a few people or help one person or one business or one type of business. We are down there to enact laws that help everyone. And that's my creed. I'd like to give you a little bit of a background. I entered the United States Marine Corps in 1956 as a 17-year-old private. Near the end of my 30-year career, with New Hampshire as the executive officer of the Marine Detachment, responsible for the internal and external security of the entire naval prison complex. A few of my highlights of my career. I spent 3 years in Washington, D.C. as a member of the United States Marine Corps drill team, with secondary missions of guarding the President of the United States, Dwight David Eisenhower. We also were responsible for conducting all Marine Corps funerals in Arlington National Cemetery. One further responsibility was we were in charge of the security in the Karatkin Mountains, a place called Camp David. I spent a tour with the British Royal Marines in Malaysia during the Malay-Indonesian War to learn British Royal tactics because we were getting ready to go into Vietnam. I was commissioned a second lieutenant in 1966. Following that, I spent 41 months in Vietnam as a rifle platoon commander, rifle company commander, combined action company commander, and finally 10 months searching for MIAs and POWs. Between Vietnam tours, I served as the aide-de-camp to the commanding general of the 2nd Marine Division. During my last tour in Southeast Asia, I assisted in the repatriation of 4 sets of human remains from North Vietnam, 2 from Laos, 2 from Cambodia, and 2 from China. During my time in Vietnam, I was decorated for valor on 3 separate occasions. I was seriously wounded on 2 occasions, receiving 2 Purple Heart medals. Some years later, I lost my right lung to cancer due to overexposure to Agent Orange. After retiring, I continued to serve. I served for 18 years as the commander of Post 46 or 95 of the American Legion. I'm very active in Veterans Affairs. I spent several years on the Conway Municipal Budget Committee, and for 6 of the past 10 years as a state representative. My forte in the general court was municipal and county government. I consider myself somewhat of an expert on the RSAs dealing with municipal and county government and served on that standing committee. During 2011 and 12 House session, my first 2 years of the legislature, we were met with an $850 million built-in budget deficit by the departing Democratic majority. We rolled up our sleeves, went to work, we balanced the budget for those 2 years by cutting out more than $1 billion.
Interesting. Very interesting. Thanks for letting us get to know you. So those are our 3 candidates for the New Hampshire Representative District 2. Next, we have New Hampshire Representative District 3. Just for those of you who are wondering how I choose who to invite, the Gibson Center covers 9 towns. And so if people have their name on a ballot in any of those towns, then they are invited to attend. So even though District 3 is not on the for the Gibson Center. So first up, we have Mike McConkey. Are you ready, Mark? Mark, you're going to have to unmute yourself. I'm not finding. Well, Mark, if you can come back. You there and available to speak next?
If you can hear me, I can hear you.
Yes.
Does that work?
Yep, you're on, Nicole.
Okay, great. Hopefully Mark will make it back. My name is Nicole Nordland. Thank you for inviting me and hosting this. Scenarios. I've been married for 21 years to my husband, Carl. He is a teacher in Tamworth and former carpenter. We have 2 children. We've been in Madison since 2003, and we moved here in 2002 to the Valley. We moved from Connecticut, just outside New York City. We did not move to New Hampshire to change New Hampshire. We were seeking liberty and community, simplicity and old-fashioned Yankee ingenuity, and we found what we were looking for. I have been involved with my chair. I served on the Alternative Energy Committee in Madison, and I served on the Fire Truck Replacement Committee, and that committee was responsible for saving Madison hundreds of thousands of dollars to replace our Engine 1 truck. Most recently, our Budget Committee has been working on new strategies with regards to working with the school budget and the school committee. I received my undergraduate degree in communications and continuing education in culinary arts. I have been in the restaurant business for 35 years, and I've worked in every capacity of the restaurant business. I've worked for a flatbread company for 16 years now. Additionally, I specialize in nutritional alternatives for health for the Tamworth Farmers Market, and I ran winter breakfast and lunch programs where I met wonderful folks interested in taking charge of their own health. I have been a strong supporter of New Hampshire agriculture since moving here in 2002, especially in its capacity to affect physical health, environmental health, and overall impact, and the overall economic impact for farmers and consumers. I love food and farms and all they have to offer as it pertains to the improvements on quality of life. My husband and I also have two small businesses, one of which has been all but squashed by the state's efforts to close campgrounds in the early part of the COVID scenario, which we will work hard to rebuild. Small businesses deserve our support, in my opinion, and representation, as well as the freedom to operate in the least restrictive manner and to promote success. Recently, I attended a presentation by the Honorable Harrison Kanzler from Conway, who is the director of Mount Washington Valley Housing Coalition, where I learned some fascinating demographics. 55% of the Valley works in hospitality, as do I. I've been a landlord for 20 years. So the tenant relationship laws, landlord-tenant relationship laws have changed dramatically in the past 12 years or so at the state level. And I think we agreed that to promote long-term housing solutions, landlords need to be supported. I have had brief displeasure of attending a GELCAR meeting in May. I witnessed a change in ruling that effectively discriminates against our local foster families. I spent several years as a foster parent in New Hampshire, and I attended and testified at a DHHS hearing in a snowstorm this past winter. The long and short of it was that the change was discriminatory, and the result will be the loss of over 25 foster families. And it is, in my opinion, it was a solution in search of a problem, something that is a personal pet peeve. Up until now, I've been a proud independent with some of the scenarios I've outlined today. And the situation, in addition to living with COVID restrictions, I felt the need to serve. I've always been inclined to find resources and make inquiries on behalf of friends and community members. Even when we don't agree, I hope to get citizens the answers and connections they need. I feel strongly about recouping our losses from COVID, keeping taxes low and introducing no new taxes such as income sales or payroll tax hikes. Supporting small businesses so we don't continue to lose them is on the forefront of my mind. I hope to be part of the rebuild that gives Granite Staters the confidence to move forward with new business ideas and innovations without fear of loss, such as those that we are experiencing now. I'm a supporter of our constitutional rights, and my ultimate goal is to represent and not regulate. Please feel free to reach out to me anytime, as I am in the book. And again, I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Nicole. You caught me. I hadn't unmuted myself. I see that Mark is here. So Mark is the other person. Free. So let's try again, Mark.
All right, Jill, do I have you now? All right,
yes,
fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, I don't mind the delay. I've learned to enjoy my time that I've spent with Nicole, and I love her enthusiasm, as I do so many of our new people that are running, and my old friends that I've served with, of course. My name's Mark McConkey. I live in Freedom. I'm a family man, small business owner, 7-term representative and past chairman of Public Works and Highways Committee. I'm running for one of 2 seats in District 3, which is for the good people of Madison, Tamworth, Freedom, and Albany. I've been furloughed for the past 2 years here in Freedom, but I've stayed busy representing my community, being a commissioner at the Lakes Region Planning Commission, and I still structures, non-tidal waters in Concord. So that normally would keep me busy and parking in Concord, but of that work for months, and that's been a great change. Not necessarily positive, but it's been a big change for the way we conduct business and work in our community. One of my small businesses that I'm a partner in is a convenience store, and we are 2 hours from Boston. We're a local convenience stop, but for the people stopping from Boston and traveling in, bathroom service down and taking precautions with our staff and so forth. But we have not had any issue to date, and I've been very happy about that. I also want to commend the good people at the Carroll County Nursing Home that have to be working tirelessly. We also have not had a hit in our nursing home, and that is just that's an unbelievable credit to all of our people with the county. Like I said, I've had the pleasure of serving 7 terms in Concord. I've spent all of my time in public works and highways. My 2 colleagues that are presently in Concord, Jerry and Susan, let me apologize for that informality. Both of those representatives are on the Human Services and Elderly Affairs. And having both members on one committee, a policy committee, I don't think is advantageous to our people in the towns that I represent. Whereas when I was in Public Works, and fully intend that I'll go back in, we oversaw the 10-year plan. We saw all the budgets of all the public buildings, the state parks, all of the highways and the bridges. I've had the pleasure of great contact with all of the commissioners in all the departments because they spend their time coming through our committee. And that has translated to an easy opportunity for me, and knowing all of the commissioners firsthand when anyone I represent needed help, needed an answer for a question. I always say that you may not like the response I'm going to get you, but I've always been able to guarantee, and even in the time that I've been here on furlough and freedom, still taking calls all the time and helping refer people to. There's great advantage to having someone that has had leadership positions, whether it's been the county or whether it has been in Concord. I'll highlight a few projects. If you drive down 16, you can't, you're going to be delayed looking at the projects I've had involvement in, the 3 bridge replacements over Ossipee, the new dam of your towns. I see we're getting close. I want you school choice and keeping your taxes low. Asphalt, concrete, roads, bridges is what I give you, and I even brought you a dam. Please consider casting a vote for Mark McConkey on September 3rd. If you have concerns or wishes, 8275. I think I squeezed it in. Thank you, Jill, so much.
Thank you very much, Mark. I'm glad we were able. We have New Hampshire Representative District 7. This is the flotilla, and the next candidate is Norman Tregenza. Welcome, Norman. Norman, you're going to have to unmute yourself on your side after we unmute you.
Can you hear me now? You can hear me now. Great. Oh, wonderful. It's so nice to be here at the Zoom forum. I want to thank you and George and the whole team at the Gibson Center for this wonderful opportunity. The Gibson Center in particular is very important to the Tregenza family. There are probably a lot of people who do not know, but after my dad passed away, sometime thereafter, my mom was asked to play the piano for the Gibson Center lunches, not at the Gibson Center, but at the satellite dining facility in Madison. And Mom had been doing that up until the virus hit. And it's been such a great part of her life and of my life too, because something there, and it's given her not only an opportunity to make new friends, but meet a lot of people. And the Gibson Center certainly must reach, in one program or another, almost everybody in this valley and many, many, many people beyond the valley. So I just want to praise and thank the Gibson Center for what it's done in the life of my family. I'm Norman Tregenza, and I am one of the choices for the District 7 seat, which is the northern half of Carroll County. So everything from Tamworth and Freedom and north in the county. Regarding Harvey and Helen Gibson, I'm a huge fan of Tom Eastman's book, Cranmore. So since we've got a chance, I'm just going to bring this up here. But chapter 4 is all about the Gibsons and how Harvey Gibson was instrumental in bringing skiing to Cranmore. And it's just really, really a fabulous book. So, I've been in and out of the valley all of my life. I've worked in many restaurants. I've worked in schools. I substituted for years, both at Kennett and in a lot of the elementary schools. I love the Mount Washington Valley. It would be an honor to serve as state representative for Granite Stater, and I don't take things for granted. And I love America.
I'm not sure whether he was finished or whether he's just experiencing technical difficulties. Well, Norman seems to be being buffered right now. Why don't we head on to next on the ballot is our candidate for sheriff, Dominic Riccardi, who is our current sheriff. So he wasn't sure, depending upon what time, whether or not he'd be able to make it in, but hopefully he's able to be here right now. Dominic, are you available?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, wonderful.
All right. Sorry for my lack of technology here, but I'm seeking re-election for my 5th term as the county sheriff on September 8th, 2020. I hope you feel that I've served you with dignity and trust for almost the 8 years of the 4 terms. I continue to be in this position and would feel privileged to continue serving as your sheriff for the 2021-2022 term. I'm currently the president of the New Hampshire Sheriff's Association as of January 18th. That is voted on every 2 years for the presidency. I've organized the New Hampshire Sheriff's Association annual scholarship golf fundraising event for the last 6 years. This enables the sheriffs to give scholarships to either 1 or 2 persons, typically in each county. We also provide financial scholarships to organizations such as the New Hampshire Law Enforcement Memorial, New Hampshire Special Olympics, and the New Hampshire Police Cadet Academy, and some others. I remain dedicated to you, the citizens of Carroll County, I've served over 30 years as Carroll County law enforcement, and 25 of those years have been served at the Carroll County Sheriff's Office. Change year to year, so do the types of crimes, social issues, epidemics, and now pandemic. I'm still eager to work through these changes, working with all law enforcement, social professionals, and social groups. I want to help all the employees at the Sheriff's Office obtain the training and education needed to best cope with these changes. Since becoming sheriff in 2013, one of my main goals was to build the trust and working relationships with all of law enforcement in the county, state, and federal. I believe I have done this and continue to promote at our office that we will not hesitate to aid any agency that needs it. It's been gratifying to see and hear and work in cohesive workforce with all of these agencies. I thank all the leaders of the agencies and their personnel for continuing to work together for the betterment of the citizens and the visitors of Carroll County. The Sheriff's Office Communications Center has been designated as a state asset regional communications center. And that's due to the amount of resources that they provide throughout the county and state. One of my biggest projects was to rebuild the communications center network as far as towers and radios. And since 2015, I've obtained grants from New Hampshire Homeland Security. The total of these grants in 3 phases will be just about $1.5 million. This is no cost to the taxpayers as a federal grant. So if we don't get it, someone else is going to get the money. So we did apply and were granted 3 separate phases. We are currently just about finished with the second phase. I've been part of community organizations coming together and implement ideas and resources in and around Carroll County on how to continue to deal with drug epidemic and crime. Individuals with overcoming addictions. Carroll County Sheriff's Office was involved with the drug court from the start, and I have been able to obtain Granite Shield grants for the last 2 years to help law enforcement. I will also continue to support the New Hampshire Attorney General's Drug Force, which has been greatly assisting in Carroll County. I owe a great deal of gratitude to the deputies, communication specialists, administrative assistants, and court officers that have served and are serving for me at the Sheriff's Office. Your dedication and professionalism has enabled the success here at the Sheriff's Office. I continue serving you, wearing a uniform, working with all departments, and I continue to enjoy it. To be fiscally responsible and look for ways to overcome challenges our community faces daily. That's the vote and your write-in vote on September 8th. Thank you for your support.
Thank you very much, Dominic, for taking time out of your busy day to come and be with us today. Next, we have the Registrar of Deeds and Lisa Scott. Lisa, if you're ready, I see you've unmuted yourself already, so welcome, Lisa.
Thank you, Jill, and thank you to the Gibson Center for this opportunity to speak to our Carroll County voters. My name is Lisa Scott, and I serve as your Register of Deeds. The Registry of Deeds oversees the official land record for the 19 towns in Carroll County. The Deeds Office staff and I and to protect the land record, to provide public access to the county's historical land records as well. I've served for 3 terms, and over the past 6 years, the registry team improvements and major upgrades of the office systems, including bringing Carroll County land records online. There's no need to come to the office for doing your research. You can look up your deed online at www.nhdeeds.com. And we have modernized the recording system as well. It's possible to keep office operations up and running even through the COVID-19 pandemic. We proudly served every day without closing the office. And we've made a good start at restoring and preserving the county's official land records. There are many more things we need to do at the Registry of Deeds, and I'd like to lead the efforts and continue to serve you in my role as Register of Deeds. So I ask for your support. If your name is not on your primary ballot, please write it in, Lisa Scott, for Register of Deeds. Back to you, Jill.
Thank you very much, Lisa. All right. So next we have our county commissioner, and Kimberly Tassari is running for county commissioner for District 2. Kimberly, if you're there, if you want to unmute yourself and yes.
Am running for Carroll County Commissioner in District 2. I live in Ossipee and I am running for that seat. You can find me at kimtassari.com. So my platform is about transparency, financial responsibility, and accountability. Currently, I'm a prosecutor with the New Hampshire Department of Safety attached to the New Hampshire State Police, where I prosecute misdemeanor level offenses. Previously, I worked for the county, so I have a little bit of knowledge of the inner workings of the county. I was an assistant county attorney for several years. It's there that I began to be interested in running for election when I saw the workings of the county from inside and some potential issues which I thought needed immediate attention. I also am a mother of 2 kids and a wife, so we have a lot going on, especially in the COVID times. With that being said, I assure Carroll County voters that I have that position of Carroll County. I grew up in Carroll County. My friends are here. My family is here. My children will attend the schools here. I work in the county. My colleagues are law enforcement in the county. And so what happens here is part of our woven fabric and is intrinsic to us, and we take it very are invested in the county is the New Hampshire way. It's how we ensure that our electorate is close to the people and is aware of the issues that our electorate faces. So why am I running? Well, I don't have enough to do. I'm not busy enough. But more importantly, because there are some serious issues that have come to light. First would be the lack of the audit. So I don't know how many of you know, but every year or every couple of years, there's an audit that's done. The audit that was most recently done at the county is still not finished. If you've logged on to any of the Carroll County Commission meetings lately, it's been the subject of at least the past 5 and going backwards. And you can find those on governmentoversight.com. But they continue to discuss it because the audit is not done. This is simply unacceptable. And people say, well, how does that affect me as an everyday citizen? Well, it affects you because it affects our tax dollars. When the audit's not done, that's not being utilized, or a deficit that taxpayers will have to come up with, repay, which could affect our tax values. So the audit's a pretty big, important thing. Along with the audit, there have not been enough votes to secure the hiring of a chief financial officer. I think this is an important thing for the officer. It will allow to ensure that none of these things that have been occurring have been going on. Also, if you recently were aware, the nursing home, when they were audited, they found several personnel files that were incomplete. So as you know, that we can be fined or face other repercussions that some of our nurses at the nursing home were not paid the accurate amount they should have been paid with shift differentials. I think we can all agree up and down the ticket that our nursing home employees are doing a wonderful job and that in this COVID time they faced increased challenges. So we should be compensating them, and we need to make sure that that is done. When you're talking about an over $30 million budget, there isn't room for errors. We need to make sure that we're getting everything done we can get done. I would just briefly talk about my opponent. He's been there during this time. He's been there for over a decade, and we need to ensure that this doesn't continue. So with that, I am running on a platform that is about change. It's about bringing a new perspective to the county, and that's why I think you should vote for Kim Tessari for County Commissioner on September 8th in the primary. I would appreciate your vote. If you have any questions or concerns, you can reach me at kimtessari.com or on Facebook, or you can always find me here anywhere at the Troop, anywhere you need me. So please consider voting for me. I would appreciate your vote in September. And thank you, Jill, for hosting us. It was a pleasure to be here today.
Thank you very much, Kimberly. Great to have you here. Okay, next we have Dave Babson. Dave, if you'd like to unmute yourself and we can hear what you have to say.
I think I've unmuted. Am I?
Yes. Yep, you're all set.
I'm running now for not my 10th or 11th or 12th term, as my opponent just said, but for my fourth term. It is a fourth-year term, and as people say, I'm not looking, and I try to convince them they're incorrect. I'm not running for a lifetime appointment. I'm running because we have the possibility of having two commissioners with no experience whatsoever in managing county or municipal government. There's a big difference between working for job is not a 2-hour-a-week job. I go into the office about 3 or 4 days a week, maybe 5, from anywhere from an hour to 2 hours or 4 hours. We have to keep abreast a job that I call it the stepsister of government. People don't know where the county is. They don't know what the county does. They don't know what the budget. And with that we've passed, or it's actually the law calls it an estimate. We pass it to the delegation. The delegation gets it on December 1st. After that, the commissioners have absolutely nothing to do with the budget. It goes to the delegation, and they have until done down in Concord. My priorities, if I were fortunate enough to get elected again, were what to do with the old nursing home. In the past, we tore down one wing already. We did it with bond money from the new nursing home, so it didn't cost us 500,000. It cost us over $1 million. We are also studying now what to do with the building. The three things that seem to surface most: nursing home or on the campus, transitional housing for inmates that get out of the facility and have nowhere to go. It's a shame. We have them and they serve their time and then they walk out the door. They have no place to. Usually ends up with them being back. We have a huge storage problem. We shouldn't, and office space. We have to expand for the county attorney's office. We have to expand for the administration and the finance office. The finance office, we are in the process of hiring a chief financial officer. If my opponent was not aware, the vote was 3-0 to hire a financial officer. So we're conducting the interviews for that position in about a week or two. We should have one by the end of the year, probably sooner. Another thing that we have to get straightened out is the audit mess. We have a contract with, we were supposed to have our audit company do this year, next year's, and the year but after that. They backed out because they claimed they couldn't get the information in a proper time. We think our financial people tell us they did. So anyway, we're in the process of going out for bid for a new financial, a new audit. And that's about it. So we got office space, childcare, jail housing, and I think one of the things we should actually consider is putting up a Butler building and moving some of the offices in that, or going over to the nursing home and then using the Butler building for storage. My time is up. I hope when you go to the polls on September 8th that you might consider giving me another opportunity to serve the people of Carroll County.
Great. Thank you very much, Dave. Now we have and I believe he's NJP for the person who is hosting. So Matt,
I'm here.
You are awesome. Okay, thank you very much. Welcome.
And can you see my video? Okay, so I'm Matt Platch. I'm running for County Commissioner from District 3 for Carroll County. I got interested in running over the past couple of years, looking at what's going on with the county budget, increasing county budgets, increasing, I think, more than they really should be or need to be. And there are some financial issues that are coming to light. It's pretty clear the financial systems are in a bit of a disarray, and I think that needs to be addressed. I think we can shore up the budget and we can fix these financial systems and move ahead without raising taxes and without cutting services. So that will be my goal as a commissioner. I live in Wolfboro on a farm with my wife and kids. We have a working farm. We raise livestock, pigs, goats, chickens, ducks, horses, and a lot of dogs. I've been an attorney for 34 years as well. I've represented government as an attorney for the state of Texas, Iowa, state of New Mexico. I represent cities such as Los Angeles, San Antonio, Albuquerque. It's a long list. I've done a tremendous amount of work for public safety entities all over the country as well, police and fire departments, and I've been honored to do that, particularly at this time with what's going on this year and how hard these folks are working. It's just a real honor to be able to work with them and work for them in this regard. I'm currently serve on Wolfborough's Budget Committee and on Wolfborough's Agriculture Commission. And I'm also a member of the Carroll County Broadband Committee. I was appointed by the county commissioners as their representative. And what's happening in Carroll County with broadband right now is just a real problem. And it's come to light so much this year with people not having adequate internet service, not having a robust broadband service. A lot of my work as a lawyer has been in the field of telecommunications law. So I practiced before the FCC. I've represented major carriers, and a lot of the work I do for public safety entities is related to communications. And I've helped deploy broadband networks. We need much better broadband here in Carroll County. And so as a commissioner, I'll work with the delegation to make that happen. There are some legislative fixes that could be handled and that aren't being addressed and that would help to facilitate deployment here in Carroll County. We're a rural county, and I mean, you can see just on this call that some people's internet is just not robust enough to get a real good picture. So I have to drive down to downtown Wolfboro to get a good connection. I can't get a good connection from my farm. That shouldn't be happening. I mean, we need that for everybody in the county, and it should come to every door in the county. That's what the Carroll County Broadband Committee is trying to do, and I think as a county, we need to make that happen. We need to pull out all the stops. So that will enable telemedicine. It will enable distance learning. You can't really have an interactive learning session without that. And it will enable businesses to do things from anywhere. I mean, as a lawyer, I can function from anywhere if I have a good broadband connection. And both mobile and fixed is what we're talking about. So in any case, if anyone has any questions, I can be reached at 630-9422. I'm happy to talk. And I would really be honored to get your vote and your support. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Matthew. Very good. All right, so next we have the delegates to the state convention, and James Umberger is listed as the first candidate on the ballot. So Jim, if you want to unmute yourself and let us know what you think. So for the host, Jim Umberger is listed under Karen Umberger for the names.
Okay, you're fine now.
There you go.
Yeah, okay. Are we ready?
We're ready. Thank you, Jim.
Jill, thank you so much for organizing the 5-minute forum. I've attended many of them over the years and found them to be informative and extremely important. I am running for an opportunity to serve Republicans as a delegate. This is not a well-understood position, but is essential to ensuring you are represented in the development of the Republican platform process and the election of the Republican County Committee members. The only time Republicans get to vote for delegates is during the state primary. So I'm asking for your vote, encourage you to let me know your positions. I can be reached at 356-6881. Call me anytime to express your thoughts on what should be on the platform. Thank you.
All right, Jim, short and sweet. Thank you very much. Wow, super. Okay. Mike DiGregorio is scheduled to be next. Somebody's calling in. Let me just. No. Okay. So Mike DiGregorio is scheduled to be next. He was working today. He wasn't sure he was going to be outside of a house when it was his turn.
I'm here.
You are? Awesome.
Yep.
Okay. Welcome, Mike.
Hi, how are you?
Great. Great to see you.
So I will try to be short and sweet also. I don't know if I can be shorter than Jim, but I'll try. Just a little bit about me. I've lived here just about all my life. I think my parents moved into town when I was like 7. I have been deeply involved in local government my whole adult life, almost 30 years now. Well, I think I first ran for office when I was 21 years old, something like that. I've also worked in the telecommunications industry for 30 years, and I own a small solar company doing large-scale solar development. So I keep quite busy doing all of that stuff. I've been fortunate enough, as I said, to get elected into many departments within the town, whether it was selectman, school board, budget committee. Currently, I'm a precinct commissioner. And, I've always just tried to stay deeply involved. I got a call asking me if I would do this. And as Jim explained, it's a not a terribly clear position with a lot of folks, including myself, up until Karen Umberger actually explained to me exactly what takes place. I think for me, as someone who wants to help guide the party and elect the people that are guiding the party, I want to bring the message that we need younger conservative voters, and we have to figure out exactly what they're looking for. It's our party has, I hate to say, aged a little bit, but we need to focus on some of these younger folks that are coming up through. There is a lot of young conservatives out there. They just don't necessarily know how to get involved. And we need to figure out exactly what they want so we can get them involved. And that's what I will try to do. If I get elected, that's my plan. So I don't know what else to say.
All righty, Mike. Well, thank you very much. I remember when you moved here, because your sister and I were in class together.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for taking time to speak to us today. Suzanne Nelson responded. I'm not finding her name on the list here right now. Suzanne, if you're there. Okay. And then the other person, Norman Tregenza, asked if he could finish his time. He had a couple minutes left when he got frozen with the internet. So Norman, are you there to finish your 5 minutes?
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. So
yeah, okay. I guess I got frozen. I don't know how somebody can get frozen on in August, but I guess anything is possible in Carroll County.
Right. So I'm restarting you've got about 2.5 minutes left, Norman. So go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yes. Just that I'm Norman Tregenza, and I'm one of your choices for District 7, which is the northern half of Carroll County, the towns from Tamworth over to Freedom and all the way up to the Coas line. And I would think that you'd want someone who's been in and out of the valley for all or most of their lives. I've lived other places too, but held many jobs here, and you know, I'm familiar with, for example, the work done by the Green Mountain Conservation Group, where they're working to protect the watershed underneath, especially the southern part of the district. And I was an active member of SLAM for many years, the Silver Lake Association of Madison, where Hirsch Sosnoff and I created and developed the milfoil water protection program to prevent that from infesting Silver Lake, and things like that. So, and infrastructure is absolutely key. We have to do everything that we can do to make it easy for people to come in and out of the valley. We want our roads and bridges of high quality. It was such a loss to the valley when Representative Gene Chandler and Representative Mark McConkey were not reelected this last cycle, because Gene Chandler and Mark and many others too, but Gene was really the impetus of getting East Conway Road rebuilt and repaved, which was an absolute disaster for people who live here and remember it about 7 or 8 years ago. I mean, you wouldn't even want to be on it. And there have been some really bad ideas down in Concord. I know they talked about taxing ski lift tickets. You know, like Harvey Gibson would be happy about that. I mean, it's just why punish people who want to come here and spend their money? So I'm certainly not going to support an income tax, a sales tax, a capital gains tax, a lift ticket tax. I'm Norman Tregenza. I'm asking for your support. Please vote for me on November 3rd. Thanks to Jill, George, and everyone at the Gibson Center. My phone number, if you want to reach out to me, 733-6736. Okay, 733-6736. Norman Tregenza for State Representative. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much, Norman. I guess that's it for people who signed up and asked to participate. I thank you all for attending. I thank the Valley Vision, who's going to be showing this later on this week. And I especially thank the people at the Conway Daily Sun, Rob, who is recording this. If it takes about the same time as last week, it should be available in the afternoon tomorrow. And you can watch the whole YouTube thing there. If you don't have a computer and YouTube, then you can watch it on Valley Vision. They're hoping to have it on Thursday. Anybody that would like a link, I will send the link out to everybody who signed up today so that you can have a link to the event. I wish you all well. I hope you all get out to vote on September 8th. The Gibson Center is not providing bus service this time because of COVID, so we're asking people to vote by absentee ballot. And we do hope that you'll all join us on the 13th of October when we have all the people who make it through the primary are able to come together and chat about why you should vote for them in the general election in November. So thank you all very much. Have a nice afternoon, and thank you for choosing to spend it with us. I'll be closing the meeting now.